So yeah, intensely dramatic is the start of this healing heart. Intensely dramatic. It's like, oh, do I really need to fall apart right away? Well, yeah, of course. Why not? So, yeah. So welcome to the healing heart. I'm happy that you're here and that we came with many of us to come into this healing practice of ours. And the healing practice today has a target, has a focus to a certain extent, and that is pain and bodily ills. And this is a great subject, and not so much to confirm it or anything, but to see that something is possible here and something did occur here and that you might not directly recognize. And so that is the possibility of this meeting. The possibility is to discover what is given and what is behind all of this, and what is inspiring you and what is supporting you and what is true about you, no matter what you think about yourself or no matter what seems to be going on. And yeah, there it is. So I use in this session, I think it is chapter 17, I have to look it up, but it's like from A Course in Miracles. I use that specifically because it is bringing you to a recognition of a state, of an inner state that is your natural state. And so that's amazing. There's a book which tells you what is a natural state of you and instructs you how to get there or to recognize it. And in that recognition is in fact everything taken care of. But that is a matter of training yourself, of allowing this healing to occur, allowing the shift in perception to occur, going deeply into ideas of this cannot be what I am, this cannot be God's will. So when it comes to pain and bodily ills, you can easily admit, well, this is not God's will. It's not that God wants me to teach me a lesson by my illness or by my pain. So no, that's not. Like, there's no learning through pain. And this needs repeating, because it's literally only joyous lessons will be learned. And that's really beautiful. It's like only joyous lessons will be learned. Like painful lessons you won't learn through pain, even though you might have been educated that way in your human, your human tradition. But this has nothing to do with that. In fact, it is basically always 180 degrees upside down. So coming back then to our, say, Christ light, to our beautiful withinness, that doesn't know anything but perfection, and doesn't know anything about, for instance, attainment. It doesn't know anything about achieving. It doesn't know anything about changes. It doesn't know anything about a lot of things that we think is a normal part of us. So that's where the healing starts to occur, by standing in this spot where in fact those changes are not recognized, are not confirmed, are not emphasized, are not brought back into memory. So this is the training of A Course in Miracles, and that means that is an ongoing activity. It is the natural state of your mind to release instead of holding on or trying to figure out or compete or analyze. Now here I say something that seems like just a couple of words, but we all have done this, and we might still do it. That that you analyze what's going on, that you build up a little plan because of what you have discovered about yourself, while in fact you cannot see yourself at all. And your analysis have such a limited scope that there could never be a solution in you trying to knit together a plan for your salvation. So luckily you don't have to do that. Now it is more that we discover, and you recognize this too, I know that for sure. It's like you recognize the incredible speed that is taking place. Like there's a celestial speed up taking place within you, in recognizing the truth of you, in seeing what is actually occurring with you, like recognizing that beyond your own analysis, but really as a recognition of the light communication that you start to recognize, or the like how fast everything is going. It's like everything is so quick. I hardly don't have time to bring in any idea and hold on to it for more than like 10 minutes, and then I release it already. Or maybe it's a day, or maybe 24 hours. Well, I don't know about you, but I remember from my time in which I was like trained to hold on to things, that I could easily hold on to an idea for years, for 10 years, or 16 years, or who knows what. Like that has been incredibly speeded up. And this is a good recognition, because in fact it isn't, say, an integral part of your healing mind, and releasing your ideas about yourself constantly. No, letting go. No, your analysis don't give you anything. No, your considerations have no ground to stand on. No. Like literally, your mind is one with God. That takes care of everything. Your mind is whole, healed, and saved. Like I'm like an extension of the love of God. This is my true nature. This is the truth about me. All the rest is not the truth about me. Now, so I don't need to remember saying that to myself. Well, for a moment maybe I do, but it's like, no, it is looking for this moment, for this within myself, for this altar within myself, for this place where I go when I release my ideas, when I suddenly feel like, so happy that none of this is so. I'm so grateful for what is occurring, and then in fact allowing myself to sink even deeper into that release, into that feeling, into that letting myself stay there for a moment in this beautiful holy instant that I'm experiencing, feeling that it literally rejuvenates me, it energizes me, it gives me something just by being still and not picking up any idea, by not being distracted for a moment, taking time for myself to actually let that occur. So this becomes an essential part of our training, if you want. But it's like you recognize how great it is to enter into this state of peace of mind, how wonderful it is not to be distracted by superficial things, but to stay right there in your certainty, in your calmness, and seeing that everything basically falls into that. And when I say falls into that, I mean it this way. It's like, in fact, there's a lot of impulses coming to you through your phone, through your interactions with others, and all this. Now, your human response would be to do something with it, and to be attentive in the conversation, to be talkative, or to respond with some paternal response, like out of a habitual response. That was the word. Like habitual response is just to have some kind of social interaction. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing that. It is just that you don't have to do that. So the thing is with entering into a human conversation is that you in fact recognize that place where this human conversation takes place exists, and it doesn't. Now, releasing that idea that you have to respond in the first place brings you back to your quiet and your, say, peace of mind, and in fact your light. Now here's the thing then, in all the situations that are confronting you, let this happen. Let it come to you. Like, don't reject it. No, you receive it. But that doesn't mean that you have to respond to it. And this becomes a really important lesson. Now, in fact, you can stay in your peace experience, in your center, and not being distracted by what appears to be going on. And if you be patient with yourself sufficiently in that moment, you see that changes occur right in front of you. That because of the non-responsiveness, it is a response, of course, but it's like it's not a social interaction anymore. No, this is a healing moment in which I stand right here and allow something to occur, just because I'm aware that I don't have to respond in a human way to any kind of situation, but recognizing the light within, I will receive inspiration to respond. I will extend that what needs to be extended. If I stay in my peace, I can actually come into guidance in that. And this is like a really important lesson that you practice basically all the time. So whether you forget it or not, when you forget it, you enter into the conversation, you make things real for yourself, and you feel exhausted within like 10 minutes or maybe half an hour. But it's something that exhausts you because it is not alive. It's literally death. It's a death recognition and placing yourself in that death. So you recognize that. I don't know how that is for you, but I recognize it for myself. Like if I'm trying to be social in a setup, I get really exhausted and I really feel like, oh my God, this is so old, this is so over, I don't need to do this. And then when I step out of it, it is all fine. Like nobody seems to be, there's nobody there. So there's nobody having any problem with that in that sense. Unless you want to build up a drama within your dream, and then you have a conflict, and then you lose your peace of mind. Now, okay, so what does this have to do with our healing target today? Pain and illness, or bodily illnesses, bodily discomfort. It's like the program that you're in is one of physical conversion. This I mentioned before. So the program, A Course in Miracles, is in physical resurrection. Jesus demonstrated that to us. Now that doesn't mean that you have to suffer pain all the time, but it does mean that the discomfort that you're going through is not always necessarily a bad thing in that sense. It's like let it pass through your system is what I say. Like let it pass through your consciousness, allow it to change and be healed, and that is an important part of it. But on the other hand, this is what I introduced yesterday too in our Joel talk. It's like the one thing that's also very important is to see how quick this is. It's like how quick your mind picks up an idea that nothing changed and that it wasn't successful. And in terms of self-judgment, in terms of punishment to yourself. Now this also needs practice. So there's like, how do you know the difference then between one or the other occurrence? Like, well, there is not really a difference. It is if you stay in your calm, then you be instructed what to do. Then you see how quick things can change. While it seems like you move through physical conversion Sometimes, like, it can take 24 hours. It looks like, oh, this is so intense. However, am I going to get through this? If it is something that just comes up out of the blue, then it disappears too. And then you wonder, what on earth was this? I don't know, but it's gone. So I'm happy that it's gone. So here it is with the pains and bodily ills. Then if it is a repetitive pattern, like something is repeating itself constantly, it seems like in the Course it says, for one thing, you hold on to this idea that still there is something going on. You do this for a very specific reason. One of them can be that you feel comforted, even though it isn't comfort, but at least you know this as part of yourself, like you still identify with that part of yourself. So in other words, that if you totally accept that for yourself, that you need for a moment, you still apparently need this, then you can be at peace with that. It sounds a bit contradictory, but it's in fact a thing that is, that can happen. That is perfectly all right. Like, there is nothing wrong with that. So you never need to be in a different place than you are. But also you don't need to hold on to anything at the same time. Now here's the thing then. You went through a release of your pain moment. You felt like, oh, now I'm suddenly out of it. Now what does your mind do? Looking for things that are familiar. That's the only thing the mind can do. If there's no pain, the mind will look for pain or create even situations that bring you back into it. Not that those have any reality, because in the first place, the painful memory didn't have a basis. But since this is a dream state, and a repetition of a dream state, that might still occur, that you pick up old ideas, so to speak, that are familiar. Now, like I said, the healing can take place, and then in no time you pick up the same idea, you pick the same idea up again. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with that occurrence. It is just, in a certain sense, not necessary to do that if you're consciously aware that the healing took place, and like the healing did take place. It was successful, and you don't have to repeat a story again. That is simply how that is. Now, if you still pick up that idea and you're circling around in that same loop, then you start over again. It's like you start over again. There's also nothing wrong with that. But why would you do that? Why would you pick it up again if you consciously know that you don't have to do that? So this is the thing that you basically learn, and to consciously recognize, what am I actually picking up here? What is it that I'm asking for? If I feel discomfort, do I connect it immediately with my body and with the memories that are connected to the situations I was in a moment ago? If I confirm any of that, then that becomes true for me. So this is literally like a process in the mind that takes place until you get it, so to speak, until you see it in time and say like, oh my God, I don't want any of it. I have no need for this because it doesn't have a cause. What I want is what is true about me. So this is my focus. This is the only thing where I put myself in my mind. I stay right here to allow the healing to occur that needs to take place. I'm releasing all of the rest, all of the ideas. I don't need to repeat a story. I've no use for it. I've literally no use for it. I allow myself to enter into this new moment. I allow myself to be completely healed and whole. And there's nothing that needs to prove to me anything else. I don't give any power to that. So this is an essential part, of course, in the whole story, in the whole mechanism of the healing procedure that you find yourself in. Now, like I said, I I have some expressions. Those are really beautiful and really have an incredible healing light, you could say. And that's why I love to share them with you. And that is like your mind will recognize these expressions, is what I'm saying. So that's where the power that I'm talking about is not a separate power that's doing something with you. No, this power is within you, and you recognize it, and you allow that to affect you. You become open to receive that. So we're talking here about a state of grace. The first thing to remember about miracles is that there is no order of difficulty among them. One is not harder or bigger than the other. They're all the same. Yeah, they're all the same. Like, there's no difference between any of them. There's no difficulty, no order of difficulty. It's not like one thing is not more difficult to heal than another thing. They're all the same. Okay, so we step into chapter 7. That was it. Not 17, but 7. By demonstrating to yourselves that there is no order of difficulty in miracles, you will convince yourself that in your natural state there is no difficulty, because it is a state of grace. By demonstrating to yourselves that there is no order of difficulty in miracles, you will convince yourselves that in your natural state there is no difficulty, because it is a state of grace. I come back to you. So I start with this because there's a lovely memory connected to it and that I like to share. Like in the moment that I was desperately looking to get rid of an old habit, like there was smoking, drinking and all this, there was one moment in which I recognized this and asked for, it's like, I have no need of this. But I said this in a moment that I actually saw I mean what I say. And in that moment, it was gone. Now, that was not difficult. Like, that was not a difficult thing to do. To come to the place where I actually meant what I said took time. I needed to be going through a lot of things and seeing that this is really the only thing that I want to recognize, that I don't want this any longer. I'm not gonna do this any longer. Like, I'm done with it. I have no need for it any longer. In all honesty, I have no need for this any longer. And then immediately a shift takes place in which you see that nothing happened. So I want to emphasize the last part. Nothing happened. Like, one miracle is not harder than the other. This is really true. It's like, it's not harder. It's not, absolutely not harder. But it can only be asked for in this specific place where you actually see that I don't want any of this any longer. I have no need for this suffering. I have no need for this addiction. I have no need for this, or whatever it is. I have no need for this pain. Really coming to the place where you see that that is the case, where you can honestly say that from the bottom of your heart, and seeing that then actually the occurrence, the miracle itself, is nothing. That literally there's a change occurring, but basically you don't even notion it. It is just gone. It is like erased from your mind that you ever did it. This is what I'm saying. It's like it's an all simplicity. It's not big in that sense. It is not like fireworks and who knows what, or dramatic changes. No, that has nothing to do with it. So the simplicity of this is really like nothing happened, and that's why it changed. It is like that. Now then, the only thing is don't pick the idea up again. So you see that you're free of it. You literally, your mind has been changed. You don't need it. That was the miracle. And the miracle works always. So if you have come to this place and recognize, oh yeah, I did that, you can be sure that it took place. And you just don't have to pick up old ideas around that same theme anymore for yourself. When you maintain that there must be order of difficulty in miracles, all you mean is that there are some things you would withhold from truth. You believe that truth cannot deal with them only because you would keep them from truth. See, then it becomes a different story. So when you maintain that there must be order of difficulty in miracles, all you mean is that there are some things you would withhold from truth. You believe that truth cannot deal with them only because you would keep them from truth. Yeah, so this, you might not even be aware that you're doing it, but that can be the case. Very simply, your lack of faith in the power that heals all pain arises from your wish to retain some aspects of reality for fantasy. If you but realized that what this must do to your appreciation of the whole. Very simply, your lack of faith in the power that heals all pain arises from your wish to retain some aspects of reality for fantasy. If you but realized what this must do to your appreciation of the whole. What you reserve unto yourself, you take away from him who would release you. Unless you give it back, it is inevitable that your perspective on reality be warped and uncorrected. So that's not something to punish yourself with when you hear this. No, it is something to accept and say like, oh, I recognize this. Oh, I'm so happy to hear this because now I know what I'm doing. What you reserve unto yourself, you take away from him who would release you. Unless you give it back, it is inevitable that your perspective on reality be warped and uncorrected. See, you recognize this. As long as you would have this be, so long will the illusion of order of difficulty in miracles remain with you. For you have established this order in reality by giving some of it to one teacher and some to another. And so you learn to deal with part of truth in one way and in another way the other part. To fragment truth is to destroy it by rendering it meaningless. Orders of reality is a perspective without understanding, a frame of reference for reality to which it cannot really be compared at all. Think you that you can bring truth to fantasy and learn what truth means from the perspective of illusions? Truth has no meaning in illusions. The frame of reference for its meaning must be itself. When you try to bring truth to illusions, you are trying to make them real. When you try to bring truth to illusions, you are trying to make them real and keep them by justifying your belief in them. See how important honesty is here. It's unbelievable. But to give illusions to truth is to enable truth to teach that the illusions are unreal and thus enable you to escape from them. Reserve not one idea aside from truth, or you establish orders of reality which must imprison you. There is no order in reality because everything there is true. This is a great healing passage, isn't it? It's like every one of us recognizes some part of this. That's so great. Like, of course, I'm speaking for myself too. It's like everyone is recognizing a part in which you do that. You want to bring truth to illusions. You want to go, like, put some truth sauce on your illusions in order to keep them alive, or to prove that truth doesn't work. So this is where we're in the middle of. And I'm bringing you into that place now. It's like, yeah, this is exactly where you find yourself. I'm saying that because you have this, doesn't necessarily need to be like bodily pains or discomforts or anything, but you have a specific part where that is the case. Now, you might have that in your consciousness right now. This is exactly the part where we're going into our groups. And I see there's a question, so let's take a look. Or there's an, oh yeah. So what does it mean when it says bring everything to the Holy Spirit to be healed? What does bring mean? Yeah, so the practicality of that is really being willing to give it to the Holy Spirit. And how do you do that practically? You can say God, you can say Spirit, you can say Christ, help me here, or help, or I need a miracle, or however you do that. But basically it's about being open to give that away instead of holding on to it. In fact, allowing light to shine into your mind so it can be resolved. Now, it can only be resolved if you allow it to be changed. If you allow it to be, to let truth shine upon it. But anything will do. It's like help, Spirit, God. Just by saying that word, it would be sufficient. So it's like not everything needs to be articulated. We're dealing here with your inner Holy Spirit, who knows of your wholeness, who knows of God and everything, who knows of you, even in the denial of yourself. So any time that you're open, in fact, it already occurs. Every time that you need help and ask for it, it is there. Like, it doesn't come against your will or anything. No, you're open and it's there. You say, help, I need help here. I don't know how to do this. Oh my God, there it is. So that's how easy that is. It doesn't need to be dramatic or anything. No, it's really, it's so quick and so immediate. It just has everything to do with, are you willing to hand it over? Are you willing to release it?